Hi, my name is Marcy Silver, speech language pathologist here in New York City. I'd like to welcome you to the Inside Scoop of Living with Cerebral Palsy. It's an extension of the Silver Speaking series. And today we have our very own Kayla Ireland, who's going to speak to us about her experience with horseback riding, which is a very much recommended therapeutic exercise for children or adults with cerebral palsy, and she's going to tell us why this is so. So let's get started. So thank you, Kayla, for being here today. I look forward to learning more about your adventure. So I'm going to give the floor to you.
Thank you for that introduction. I look forward to speaking about my love of horseback riding.
Yeah, I've been following you over the years, seeing your pictures. I remember when you first started. I think you started back when I was working with you, actually.
Yeah.
So, would you say that horseback riding is your passion?
Yeah.
Yes, I have been passionate about riding from a young age, while understanding that it is a therapy to develop, improve and maintain skills. As we speak, I am looking at a framed diamond painting of me riding in front of my desk that my grandparents did for me by hand one Christmas. I also want to say that it isn't the only horse thing in my room.
That's great. So you have a horse theme in your room. Wow. Well, they're beautiful creatures. So, tell me, how did your parents first hear about horseback riding?
I don't know, but my dad has had horse experience.
Wow, well, knowing your parents well, they obviously, they really searched for the best therapists and the best therapies for you and the best outlets for you. Who recommended it to you?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like a lot of physical therapists and occupational therapists recommended here in the city for most of my patients, or they go out to New Jersey, they go to Connecticut, they go to Long Island to do horseback riding. So I know you're very active in your horse community with Little Britches. So how did you find out about Little Britches?
I don't know, but it was the closest therapeutic riding center at the time.
Yeah, and at the time, when we first started, I know that the internet wasn't as strong as far as, websites and things like that. The media wasn't as big
Yeah.
and forward, and now, everything's on the internet. How long has Little Britches been around?
They have been serving people like me for 42 years. In 1979, Betty Lou McColgan and Peg Sweeney saw a need for therapeutic and recreational activity for individuals with disabilities, and Little Britches was founded. The mission of Little Britches is to improve the lives of people with disabilities using the movement of the horse. Actually, Peg was my first instructor, and I still have my first ever Little Britches shirt. Up to recently, it has been worn by my two sisters and myself. I definitely plan on displaying it in my room, though, so I will always have it.
Oh, wow. You have your first shirt?
Yeah.
Wow. It must be torn and smelly with all that sweat and work. Okay, so I know, we've been working up to this interview and there's been so many questions about horseback riding.
Yeah.
And, you are constantly making it known that there are so many levels of horseback riding. And when I ask a question, you're like, well, then there's another level and another level. So today we're just going to keep it pretty basic, but then, we're going to do more episodes on different topics, different horseback riding exercises, a whole bunch of different topics for the inside scoop of living with cerebral palsy. So I think my question to you, and I think other people want to know, what exactly is therapeutic riding?
Therapeutic riding is an alternative therapy that provides people with disabilities with many of the same benefits as traditional therapies. It improves physical strength, facilitates sensory integration, and promotes emotional well-being. It is also known as an equine-assisted activity and therapy.
Okay. And, that's what I've known therapeutic riding to be. But there's also, you referred to the term traditional riding. So tell me more about traditional riding.
Well, riding helps everyone with every aspect of a person physically, psychologically, socially, and so much more. When talking about equine assisted activities and therapies, everyone involved, including the horse, has to be trained to be a part of the team.
Okay. And then this is a whole new world to me because I have never heard of it before. And I was driving up north to California and dressage, is that how you say it? Dressage or dressage? Dressage. So that's the French term. So I saw dressage happening. And so then I thought of you right away. I was like, wait, that's what Kayla's talking about. So tell me a little bit more about dressage.
The word dressage comes from a French word for training, and it refers to the development of a horse and rider as a team, resulting in balance and harmony. Dressage improves flexibility, strength, and accuracy for both the horse and rider. A dressage test is performed to demonstrate training accomplishments. Basic dressage tests include straight lines, halts, circles of various sizes, and changes of gait. In simpler terms, it is the Pilates or dance of horse sports.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so I'm looking forward to, diving more into dressage, but for today we are just talking about basic horseback riding because I really, really need more information on just the basics. Okay. Okay, so Kayla tells me that dressage is new to her as well, which is super cool that you're, diving into it and taking it upon yourself to learn more and participate in it. Okay, so I know you're, every time I talk to you, you're always off to go horseback riding. So how many times a week is your therapy exactly?
This therapy is once a week for 45 minutes.
Wow, that must be so much fun, but also makes you want to do it more than you already do. So I'm curious, tell me some of the directions that you have to tell the horse.
At the most basic level, we say whoa and walk onto our team. For riders who control our equine partner on our own, even if we have a leader or side walkers, we have to get the horse to start, stop, turn and bend in the direction we are traveling. Therapeutic riding is individualized to every rider. Some riders focus on core balance, sensory input, and so much more with therapeutic exercises and games. Some of the basic exercises we do as warm-up include hands on helmet, one or both arms out, alternating our hands like we are reaching something, and similar exercises. I have even had to ride sideways and backwards on a horse, which makes me have to literally figure out how to get my whole body in those positions, which takes a lot of motor planning. A few examples of the games we do are dice, putting rings on cones, and putting flags in cones.
Wow. Well, Kayla, you sent me some pictures, and I was very impressed by the pictures that you sent me. I'm going to share some of them actually. One of my favorites, if I can find it. Let's see here. So there's definitely different pictures here. Can you see them?
Yeah.
They're coming up. All right. So she's on different horses, can you see this one too? Came up?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And then I'm trying to find the one that, here, this one might be it. This one. So I see that you're riding different horses and different exercises to go with it and different games. This looks like you're having fun, right? We know you're having fun in those pictures. They're all coming up, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I will find it. But there's just so many people involved in this activity. So I'm interested in learning more about who these people are. There's always people around the horse.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. As you can see, there's a lot of people that it takes to do this horseback riding. So I'm interested to learn more about the people's roles. So thanks for sending me those pictures. So you mentioned in your description, you mentioned a sidewalker. What is a sidewalker?
Sidewalkers are one of the most important volunteers in a therapeutic riding program. Sidewalkers are physical and emotional support for riders.
Okay, thank you for that. And then you mentioned, oop, my questions disappeared. Hold on a sec. You also mentioned an equine partner. What is that?
An equine partner is a synonym for a horse or pony.
Okay. And then you're talking about a leader. What does the leader do?
A horse leader is responsible for holding the horse.
Got it.
I do more and more.
Wow. So many.
I do more and
Wow, impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Okay. So, another question for you is, what is a para-equestrian?
A para-equestrian is an individual that has a medically diagnosed permanent physical impairment. Para-dressage is dressage with accommodations for individuals with physical disabilities. However, para doesn't refer to paralysis, but being parallel to other riders. I have to learn a lot more than the therapeutic side, like the difference between when an equine is itching or not paying attention.
Okay. Okay, so definitely a lot of factors, a lot of vocabulary, a lot of roles in horseback riding, including the horse. They're talking about the horse being part of the team. So I'm interested, when you are doing therapeutic riding, what are some of the terms the teachers use with you?
It totally depends. Therapeutic riding is based on games and exercises. However, we do some basic riding stuff like posting and trotting. Steering is incorporated in a variety of ways based on the individual. I have videos of me independently steering as early as 2011. However, I didn't start consistently until a few years ago, when I started learning how to communicate using my seat and legs, until I started para-dressage in 2017. We have also modified my tack to allow me to steer more effectively. Since I focus on para-dressage now, some examples of terminology I have to know, like any other rider, are following: inside and outside leg, contact, and volt.
Okay, wow. So those are some big terms. And I think that in our next segment, we can cover, more of the actual, techniques that you're using and what it's doing for your body. So how much, I'm curious now from the horse perspective, because I'm an animal lover and I always worry about animals and how they're being treated and things like that. So, and then just how the horse becomes your horse, or how the horse is a good fit for Little Britches. So how much training does the horse have to have?
Most ponies come with some training and are used for children, but our exercise rider works with them every day to make sure they are paying attention to the leaders and riders, and exercises them to make sure they are not too frisky, especially when the cooler weather sets in. Most ponies and horses are retired, so their temperament is mild. However, They are studied by instructors and therapists to determine what human characteristics they are best suited for. For example, some people with special needs rock for sensory input, and the horse has to tolerate that. It is also important to factor in the rider's height and weight.
Okay, so that was very informative because, you know, I've been horseback riding before and I've been on horses that are temperamental or they're bucking while I'm on the horse or, you know, acting accordingly because there's other horses around or I'm showing fear or anxiety. So they, you know, animals pick up on that. Now you mentioned you use pony and horse sort of interchangeably. So what is the difference between a pony and a horse?
The main distinction between ponies and horses is height. A horse is usually considered to be an equine that's at least 14.2 hands or about 4 feet 10 inches tall. A pony is an equine less than 14.2 hands.
Okay. Yeah, I for some reason I always thought that a pony was, you know, just a young horse, but there's different animals completely. And I didn't know that as a kid. I'd go on pony rides, but then I thought the pony was the horse. No one ever explained that to me. So, what?
I said, I think we all think that.
Yeah. And then I learned that it was not, I didn't know pony was actually like its own entity. So Kayla, how long have you been riding for?
2001 was my 18th year.
Wow. Because I knew you when you were that age, when you started. I think you started the same year we worked together. I remember. Or what? I totally remember. My favorite is names of horses because, you know, we always name our pets after what we think they look like or, you know, and I feel like most horses or any animal takes on their personality based on their name. So what are the names of the horses you have rode?
I have ridden more throughout the years, but most recently Rose, Mocha, Sunny, Lucy, and Doc.
Those are nice names. Okay, the other question, because I am petrified of riding horses. I've done it 3 times in my life. And it's so scary being up there. I'm afraid of heights a little bit. So that is scary. But then also, you know, when with any instructor, when with anything you're learning, you want to be nurtured or you want someone to introduce you to the sport and you want to feel safe when you're doing something that's dangerous. Anything that you have to wear a helmet for is dangerous.
So how is that?
What?
You have heights and you got on a ski lift.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
I don't here.
I don't look down.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I love being on a chairlift. It's weird. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I love being up in a chairlift, but and gondolas too, but I do have fear of that, but I don't know. It depends. But I think it's the control, knowing the horse has the control.
Oh, probably.
So, what kind of training does your instructors have to have?
The Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship International is our parent organization. All of our instructors are PATH certified and we are a PATH member center.
Oh, that's good to know. So if I ever want to go horseback riding, I'm going to make sure that they have that certificate?
No.
Oh.
The bird.
Going to attempt to get skiing this year.
Yeah, it's cold out there.
The guy that actually taught me is still doing the program, so he's actually going to work with me, but I don't know if he'll cancel it because of Corona, so I have to reach out to him and find
That's
out.
going to be so fun.
Because
I know.
therapeutic riding.
Say it again.
Different because therapeutic riding.
Oh, okay. Got it. That makes sense. Okay. So now that you have a certified therapeutic instructor, I want to know what kind of nonverbal cues do you give to the horse? What do they teach you to do?
The nonverbal cues are through our hands, legs, seat, and weight. The foundation concepts of centered riding that apply to all riding disciplines are centering, breathing, soft eyes, and building blocks. I also want to point out that due to our disabilities, para-equestrians have different cues than an able-bodied individual, so both the equine and rider have to understand each other even more than a typical horse and rider.
Okay. So I know when I ride the horse, I am doing all the wrong things because I am anxious on there. I'm trying to breathe. I'm trying to enjoy myself, but I'm scared. So I know you're not supposed to do that with any animal. You're not supposed to show fear or anything like that. So what are you told not to do?
It totally depends. For example, we automatically want to tense up when asking a horse to walk on. However, we have to relax when asking them to walk on. I remember when sidewalkers had to hold my heel so I didn't accidentally kick due to my high muscle tone. However, now I use my legs and seat to communicate with the horse. Also, I never wear my leg braces when riding, so my legs can feel everything. Another example is that I start every single ride with my feet out of the stirrups so my hamstrings can be stretched even more due to my high muscle tone. Since Mocha, one of my equine partners, was so big, I had to put my legs on her shoulders instead.
Wow. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, any move you make, and I always remember, like, they're like, don't, you have to relax. So my whole body is like not relaxed except my arm. I'm like, okay, just make, but I'm like, this is not working. And then you accidentally kick it and it means like to just keep going. All right. So now, I mean, this is really good information for parents, for other adults who want to do it, who may have some, overall muscle tone difficulties or weakness. How does it actually help your body?
As a horse walks, its hips rotate in the same way humans' hips do. The muscles in the rider's hips are massaged throughout the lesson. For a person who is unable to walk, the experience of riding a horse gives the same sensation as actually walking. For someone like me, who needs assistance to walk and is confined to a wheelchair for most of the day, riding reduces my high muscle tone and improves my balance, posture, gait, and stability. Horseback riding stretches my muscles and reduces my spasticity. This allows my movements to be softer, quieter, and more accurate. As the horse moves, I am constantly thrown off balance, requiring my muscles to contract and relax in an attempt to rebalance. Riding requires me to coordinate numerous muscle groups to work together to get the horse to start, stop, turn, and bend in the direction we are traveling. And the horse provides constant feedback for me to react to, which in turn improves my motor planning. Stopping and starting the horse, changing speed and changing direction engage my core muscles. Increased core muscle strength directly impacts posture, head and trunk stability, which allows me to be as independent as possible. All these benefits help me physically and emotionally get through the day and week and reduce the constant tug-of-war I have with my own body. This makes participating in daily activities exponentially easier for me. It impacts simple daily tasks such as eating or the ability to transfer myself from my bed to wheelchair or from my wheelchair to the couch.
That's wow. There's a lot of there's a lot of helpful exercises for you to do through this. I think that what would be helpful is to actually, show videos of you doing these things. It would be great to do an informational for parents to see so that one of the next segments we can show how all of these are done. So I'm curious, is it also a social activity for you? Have you met other friends who have CP who do this?
Yeah.
Now, do you ride with other individuals who have other disabilities? And tell me more about the other disabilities that it impacts and helps.
Yes. Riders have various disabilities including, but not limited to autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, progressive developmental delay, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and other processing disorders. Our schedules depend on a lot of things like the participant, equine availability, therapist availability for the riders who need it, instructor, and number of volunteers, as most of the sidewalkers and leaders are volunteers.
Wow. I couldn't believe how many are employed there or volunteer there. So thank you so much, Kayla. This was so helpful. It was really informative to me, and I look forward to diving more into detail about dressage and actual showing each technique, so we can kind of have more of an informational, especially on our Facebook, our YouTube page, for anybody who's interested in horseback riding for their children or for themselves as adults.
I'll link videos too.
Amazing. Yeah. So this has been an eye-opener for me because I've heard of it, but I didn't know what goes into it. So I thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to doing more episodes and more visitors and more speakers. And if you're interested, please email us or Facebook us or YouTube us or messenger us, and we will have you on our show. So thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.